via Kali. As you mentioned, the Ari could have been a really good pick in conjunction with the Vi, right? And I will say that is a very good champion right now, is Ari, especially with the Vi. That's just a generally really just good pick. So I'm surprised they didn't go for that, and they just decided, they said, Karis is the GOAT on a Kali, give me a Kali, I don't care.
Comfort is comfort, at least. Gotta say, a little bit more stability on top esports' side, but a lot of reliance on some of these combos really being executed well, specifically giving a lot of weight to JiaQi in these fights, and especially once he hits that level 6 mark, to have an impact here, to really use the setup of the other pieces on this team to get everything they need off.
Yeah, I mean, what I really want to see is I want to see JiaQi evolve into JiaQi Love. You know, I really want to see him take on the top esports banner and wear it on his sleeve, because I think they need JiaQi to step it up. You know, Creme and 369 are begging for some help here, and he's the guy who can answer, you know, and the 80 carry has always been the focal point, and I think I'd love to see him really be that guy.
And I'm not to beat around the bush or anything, like, JiaQi Love is coming back as far as we know. So there are less and less opportunities for JiaQi to make a mark, to make a stand, to find, you know, a position for that next split and moving onward if JiaQi Love does come back. And so really needing to give him some comfort, give things that really propel this guy forward is an important factor, as the Alistar is the pick that we left off on, at least coming through now for top esports. We'll see what the answers are going to be from WE, as counter pick will be levied to 369 for this game number 2.
Ooh, the Karma is really good. You're kind of leaning more into the Ezreal part of your composition than the Vi Akali part of it. But I think that this is the direction we wanted to do. We wanted to do the more stable, secure pick. You know, instead of drafting the Rakan, for example, which honestly, of course, would not be great. They have Galio, Alistar. Then may as well just take the Karma. You know, the Karma just going to help you win that lane phase, help you have a stable comp. And I think we just rounded out with Teemo here. I think that would be the... No, I don't think we do that.
You don't think so? You don't think we
Not
should
quite,
do that?
but I think this, on the other hand, this hover has a lot more merit to it, because that could help us, again, have more stability. Why not just play a really stable game where Renekton can kind of do the same thing, where you can just let Karis cook?
Could have sworn maybe that was the mistake ban. That's why they had to reset, because Renekton was banned away the first time around on top esports' side as the 4th ban. So maybe that's what happened. The Renekton does end up coming through, so maybe they wish they had kept that one, but it is going to be something that Cube has gone to a couple times, at least in this split. But 369 needs an answer here. There needs to be some kind of answer, because those equalizers and that team-wide impact that Cube had last game is typically a big moment for 369. But he didn't show up in that last game, and now on the Gwen, he's going to take a pretty similar role in being a bit of a carry.
Yeah, so I mean, holistically speaking, we've said that 369 is more than likely the much better top laner than Cube, right? And, you know, I'm willing to concede that point for the most part. And so this is the most opportune time to prove that. You're playing Gwen into Renekton. I mean, it's not like the most OP counter of all time. It's not like Gwen into Sion, but Gwen in a game where she can play on her terms and conditions, Gwen can just hard carry games out of nowhere. Just suddenly it's minute 20, Gwen has 2 items plus, and oh, you guys have 2 items plus too? Oh, that's too bad. My 2 items are way better, and you just end up steamrolling fights with the Gwen. So if 369 can really prove why he is that better top laner, I think this is the best way to do so, and this could be his game to level out this series.
I need a little bit of a step up from the vets on this team. We had said coming into this series that it really was the tertiary, the other 3 that were really lifting up this team and then enabling Creme and 369. But in that game, it felt like a full team breakdown in all cases for top esports. And they, while have been away from games for just a little bit longer than Team WE, need to kick back up into gear for this game number 2 and try to deliver a little bit. You got to remember, both teams, they still have a second life here in Knights Rivals, but you want to lock playoffs. You want to lock Group Ascend for split number 2, and it starts here. WE versus Top Esports, game number 2.
Here we go.
A little bit of late Gios now coming in.
We'll
It was the case for the game number 1.
Gios.
See if they actually they do, but
right, chat.
action's gonna be kicking off at least, so maybe not. Everybody's hesitant now with the new timers when they should do JiaYos.
Yeah,
But honestly,
I think they've got
JiaYos
oil already.
anytime is better than no JiaYos.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could still sneak in a quick JiaYo before anyone hits level 2, but I mean, I in my head, once someone hits level 2, they're way past the JiaYo window, unfortunately. So we're gonna be fighting nonetheless. Wow, we do get the Karis. Wow, I told you, man, Ignite at level 1, it's OP.
See when you can use it again. The cooldown not too shabby. I love it though. It's so funny in this mid lane. You know, typically when you pick an Akali, you're into like a ranged matchup most of the time, right? And you're like, okay, well, you know, I lose early, but then you come back a little bit later. You got to use your health trades to get as many minions as you can. But here, it's Karis who tries to take a little bit of precedence in the mid lane, but then he takes an extra turret shot.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Typically, when you're playing the Akali, you're just on the back foot, having to absorb spells and just get whatever CS you can. But whilst the Galio can be a thematic counter to the Akali, it does kind of switch things up and allow Akali to play on the front foot almost, allowing her to play the game the way she wants, at least in those first 5 levels. So, I mean, he was doing really well for himself. I think he did have a bit of leeway to take that tower shot. So it just means he's not going to stomp this lane all that hard. But thankfully, his trading prior to the tower shot was very good. So he should be all right with that. And we're just going to get to see, hopefully, Karis show us why he's so good at this.
Oh, well, JiaQi there does
yeah.
get hit by the taunt in the end, but he's able to get away from the Justice Punch and all the goodies. But that's where we're going to continue looking at this mid lane matchup continuously because this is important here. But the other important factor has been the junglers in good and bad. That's where I want to talk a little bit of the pulls that we've been seeing from them, because we saw for the first time of the split, it was the Monki Skarner that made the difference. But we've been seeing some similar trends in some ways, right, between these two guys. And if we could bring that graphic up at all possible, the jungle pools one, would love to just break down a little bit about what they've really been going through. As we foreshadowed to earlier, the Monki Mundo had been a big piece of the puzzle this split, but had fallen off in favor of some other picks for him. Well, the Pantheon has been a staple for NaiYou, but you can see the win-loss record not incredibly great, and this was before this last one as well, so now be tied there. But the Wukong has been important. These facilitators, these setup tools for both these junglers are incredibly important to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think they have pretty similar themes in the way they play, with just being quite aggressive and picking these kind of engaged setup champs, you know, like the Wukong, the Vi.
We're gonna
no home guards for this guy. No home guards
go
for about here.
Wait, he went through the ground. Boom!
Actually, kind of a big deal, low-key, by the way.
It
like,
actually is huge.
Ezreal's might miss some XP from being like 3 seconds later now or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I think the difference...
anybody's seen Wanted, bend the bullet.
The difference in the jungle pool, though, is that I think NaiYou really likes the Pantheon, but Monki doesn't. And I think based on last game, that the Pantheon might be a pretty weak pick. Is a blind pick, you know? Like, if they can pick some kind of a, you know, thorn in your side, pick like the Skarner or even the Mundo, I really do like Monki's chances a lot more than NaiYou's.
Look at this. A little bit of a cheeky gank here. He bypassed his wolves there. At least the setup will be coming back over onto this top side against 369, but the wave isn't really in a good position here to push. He's going to try to play into the bush anyways. And charge up the vault breaker.
On this, or he's recalling. Yeah.
Looks like he's just going to get that recall off. So no early blood. Both mid laners just blinking red health bars, but no jungler in sight just yet, and both of them should be able to get resets. So actually, they both already used TPs, so those will be some tough backs. As about does get caught out a little bit, does have to burn the barrier, so that'll be a summoner spell to return to.
I was gonna say, like, you probably want to barrier this. You may as well. And by the way, when you're blinking red in mid lane here, it's actually usually much better for Akali. I'm not sure if Galio, it's probably quite chill for him as well. He gets this shield, but Akali, one thing that most mid laners will know by now, she has the highest base health regen in the game, I'm pretty sure. So whenever she's low on HP, that bar goes up pretty quick. And
level 6 has been completed by 369. He realizes needlework is coming. He has to flash. Monki has taken a psychopathic path here. He took away the Krugs as well from NaiYou on the top side, was there to enable a gank if he wanted to against 369, and now we'll go back all the way to get his wolves that he had bypassed earlier.
And according to what I see here, I think Cube does hit level 6 from these minions, which actually makes things pretty complicated for 369 if you think about it. He's going to have to take the recall because now Cube can run this territory with the level 6. So he's going to be able to crash this wave. It's just a question of if 369 wants to catch it or not. Him committing to the recall is a pretty respectful play. He's more than likely going to miss the majority of this wave, even giving Cube a chance to hit the plate, which would be, of course, very greedy for his tempo. Those plates are really nice to get with the, I believe, the Chrysalis Overgrowth, something like that, because that helps you complete your quest sooner. It's really nice, but unfortunately, Cube does not quite have the time to do so.
The Hex Drinker already completed there for Cube.
Wow.
You got these plated steel caps going first for 369, so they're really thinking about that 1v1 in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, defense is the new defense, actually, because there's no need to play offense when you can just make sure you stay alive. You know, your coach probably doesn't want you to be playing he wants to be playing risk averse. I'm sure he does. So you may as well just make the coach happy and buy something like that.
I will say, just kind of zooming out on these comps a little bit, as we'll be getting to some objectives here soon. First Dragon has already been up for a little while. We'll have Grubs coming up in about a minute as well, but there's a lot more in between for WE. There's a lot more setup chances for WE, whereas it is that kind of let loose, one big fight for top esports, get that wombo combo, and not have to deal with anything for too long of a sustained fight.
Yeah, I definitely think you want to be kind of in and out, especially with, honestly, both of these comps. Especially, I would say as JiaQi in particular, you want to have a good look on these fights where you can just cast the bullet time. I think that's what a lot of these team fights is going to come down to, is can they access JiaQi with Karis and Monki, or is he going to be able to really carry the fight with that bullet time? Because the other thing we got going here is that 369 is on a bit of a snowball towards an avalanche, if I'm going to be honest. If this Gwen is left unchecked any further, his XP lead, his gold lead, his power level is just going to increase to insurmountable levels, I'm going to be honest. So they need to do something about this Gwen or really generate some leads in this bot lane quick.
Taking a peek-see at the map state here, we did have the Grubs coming up now. Dragon will be started up by WE. Should be looking to be traded, but actually NaiYou is walking away from that top side objective. Meanwhile, they're trying to bud their head in here to get this Dragon stopped. You got to remember the Dragons and early objectives are a little bit tankier now, and top esports will move in. They do have level 6 for JiaQi. It's going to be a wombo combo they want to look to set up. Looking at a 50-50 to start off this game number 2. Can top esports change their fate? They're going to go with the 3-man knockup with the bullet time, with the heroic entrance, and the smite coming in from NaiYou. The Crescent Guard's buying a lot of space, a lot of time. But here comes Cube with the massive flank. The Crocodile comes through the jungle. You didn't know they came from there, but that's a 1,000-pound beast that just chomped down onto top esports.
Yeah, Cube out of honestly nowhere, just completely flanking them and getting them that first blood. But I will say, Mazel, as 369, you are quite content with this. You got the Drake and you get the free time up here. So that's going to help. And they're going to have to fix these lane states now because Cube doesn't have TP, which means it doesn't matter much, but they're going to be slightly less progress on their mid and top lane quests, and that could matter a lot.
Okay.
Good presence of mind.
Spider instinct, bro. He knew something was afoot.
Yeah, thankfully he's more of a Spider-Man enjoyer than a Jaws enjoyer, because he could have just been completely eradicated. And those deaths are the worst, by the way, when you're right on the way back to lane.
So bad, man. For the mental.
Really bad. Oh, it's awful. I cannot emphasize enough. So thankfully JiaQi, smart fella, and he really wants to have a job in this LPL with the rumors of Jackie Love's return on the horizon.
Take a stand. We did see the Grubs end up going fully over there, so after all is said and done, a lot of early objective focus coming through for top esports. It's gonna feel pretty good. Took NaiYou a little while to do that, so he'll try to get back going through his camps. He's still up in CS for now, as Monki's gonna go back to clearing his, and we won't have another objective for a little while, so a little bit of time to give here. But I still, see a little bit of that iteration of kind of swapping strategical comps between these two in terms of, top esports looking for that more beefy team fight 5-on-5, and WE trying to find any picks they can, get a little bit of sporadic damage in there too. But does this matchup in the top lane ever have a sway? I mean, we've got 20 CS already developed by 369. Is that just going to continue?
To be honest, I'm afraid it is. I don't think that there's anything Cube can really itemize into to help him win this 1v1. I mean, I've seen some crazy Renekton builds with like Ignite, Experimental Hexblade or something like that, but this is not that. This is just a standard pro Renekton build. So he's going to have to be a bit of a backline Ruthless Predator bot. He needs to stun some of these backline targets and really play for these team fights, because in this side lane, he's just going to get cooked. I mean, look at this. He's not even reducing 369's HP at all, and he's just going down, getting whittled away here by 1,000 cuts.
And I'm not gonna lie, Foles, I kind of wish, you know, we could go to another table place in time. We were in the last game, we had like 55 kills in that whole game. It was crazy. We have 1 kill in a minute, in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. This is a much different pace of play from that first game, and maybe a little bit of a nod to the chaos that the game 1 had.
Yeah, honestly, I've come to find this trend from Pro League, which is that if the first game is extremely overly chaotic, then suddenly both teams are agents of order and not chaos. But, I mean, we'll see if they want to create some chaos on a cube up here. I don't see why not.
NaiYou could look for the wind becomes lightning. He's just going to show his face, so the gank won't be there, but the pressure will. TP not available for Cube, so that just might be the turret to 369, and that would be 12 minutes in. That's insane if he's able to do so.
And you were mentioning those grubs as well. I mean, no wonder this turret's going to take such a beating up there. That's going to be first blood turret,
Karis has to go try to save it.
Good on this patch. He's not going to be able to get it in entirety. He sees Karis now, but I mean, he should be chilling.
NaiYou is right behind him. Needlework still available. Ignite available. He can see him now as he's going through, and Needlework's going to get popped. He's going to look for him between the turrets there, but actually going to back off, just not knowing where the rest of the team could be, even though he had backup up here, maybe giving Karis a little bit of false confidence. This heroic entrance is there and available. They're going to go straight on to Karis. Karis tries to flash. That was wonky as heck as he goes down anyways in the side lane, and the turret's going to fall too.
Yeah, I mean, Karis trying to defend his tower by any means necessary. He knew that he was going to be dove there, but he wanted to find some kind of outplay. Unfortunately, his fingers were not fast enough, I guess. I mean, that's a really hard combo to do. I think he was trying to R, flash, and E all in the same direction.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what I was going to say.
Right, but I mean, you have to aim your E, like it's like a, you know, the recoil, kind of like Caitlyn. You have to aim your E the other way, and then your flash over. It's pretty tough. It's pretty
They're going to give him the slow-mo treatment.
They are, man. Of course they are. Let's see, man. It might be kind of forgivable. Yeah, no, I'm not forgiving.
So he tries to get over to the grub. That's what he wanted. So he like flashed and got the shuriken onto the grub so he could try to get out. But he got 3 talent strikes anyway.
I mean, that would be pretty crazy if he's coming up with
disgusting.
that. But yeah, this is Karis, so I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. Unfortunately, whatever he was going for there was not quite it. And we're going to have top esports up to Drakes, if I'm not mistaken. With there being no top tower on the side of WE. They want to fight down here.
He just goes for the engage there, flashes all willy-nilly, and the rest of the team's going to follow right up onto a bout. He's down, and the lead continues for top esports.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need to see that again if we can, but I think about just accidentally mispositioned or something. I mean, I think he was fine. Then he like flashed, or I need to see that again, but they want to go offense here onto JiaQi.
Cube's going to come over, though. He's got that big shield now, as well as quests are being completed across the board. The only one left is going to be Fengyue, as Creme finding a better trade against Karis now that he's got some of that MR in pocket. And speaking of, we have first items coming up aplenty for everyone.
Yeah, the only person not really having it is Cube, sitting on this Hex Drinker and this Caulfields. I mean, I suppose he's going to turn that into a Maw, which is nice. I mean, the enemy team does have Gwen Galio, so whichever side lane you're in, you're going to be really getting a lot of value out of that. We see that indeed completed here. But he's going to need a lot more items to be able to keep up with the rest of the game. If he's in a fight against NaiYou and JiaQi, he's just going to be kind of outscaled. Like, or rather, they're just going to be much more powerful at this particular point. And so, yeah, Cube is going to want to stay in this side lane, ironically, because 369 wants Cube in this side lane.
Not necessarily going to have the tools to deal with Karis. Where have you found yourself? Nice little flip on the other side is going to get him away, and the hover from Yaoyao as well. He's going to seed some events for top esports to try to run away, try to escape. He's going to prop the Unbreakable Will. Don't know if they have the damage to take down Fengyue, as he is pretty darn tanky as that cow, and Looks like a little bit of reinforcement towards that top side, but they will lose a little bit in mid lane to JiaQi as, oh, Yaoyao gets caught on the back end of the play. The exhaust comes down instantly as the rest of the team comes around to try to back him up. It won't be enough damage to take him out, but the defense has been made for Top Esports.
Yeah, I was going to say you can definitely start up this Rift Herald as WE, but I think with Yaoyao having to burn his flash defensively there, all of a sudden Top Esports wants to contest.
They do. Instant engage from Monki with the bullet time over top. He goes for the cease and desist right onto JiaQi, who doesn't have much, but he does have a couple bullets left in the tank, and Monki will fall. The Rift Herald resets, and now there's a little bit of an all-in play on bot side. Creek about to get 1v1 by Cube, and he goes down, and Cube survives.
Super well played to Cube. We got more coming up here.
NaiYou, he's just dead in the Rift Herald pit. Miscommunication and some stumbles from Top Esports. They'll still come out the better for it, but the Rift Herald is still alive.
I knew they had it in them, Mazel. There's more chaos to come. As much as Top Esports was in the driver's seat, WE wants to do some driving of their own. About gonna get to live, but
he has no mana.
They have something to say for themselves. They're not getting the Rift Herald though, unfortunately. I was gonna say they've got the Rift Herald to finally start unlocking this map, but I just think they were a bit too low. They couldn't quite get it just then. So I think we're gonna see more fights over this Rift Herald. Nobody wants to give this away.
We'll get back into that one, but here's the 1v1. Cube just running Creme down.
Yeah, he decides to hit the plate first. He gets the extra attack range, which also helps him stack his passive. Making sure he can get
bold for NaiYou. That's real bold. Your top laner is backing.
Yeah, he's a bit in no man's land.
Oh,
same with 369.
He just dies to Karis. You just gave gold to an Akali, a 3-kill Akali.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of no man's land, I mean, we're seeing back-to-back-to-back mistakes out of Top Esports. Don't make it 4.
I mean, it's looking like that number is about to count up. Where's Jin now when you need him? As About's coming down the long way, but he has a lot of distance here to cover. Looking to use that arcane shift, and unfortunately doesn't hit the essence flux, but does have the distance to keep peppering these mystic shots. One more will do it, and Creme doesn't even sidestep it. He goes down. He knew what was coming. Meanwhile, you had Karis fall to a NaiYou in a solo bolo, and now you have JiaQi taking mid lane.
Yeah, we're back, Mazel. We're so back. I know those first 10 minutes.
We're so back.
We're a little bit, slow and steady, but no, slow and steady is out the window, man. We are going back to the Agents of Chaos. I mean, look, we're clicking forward. Like you never know. Like any given moment could be more combat.
You never know. You never
know. Really don't with this stuff. So this is exciting. I mean, let's see. Taking stock of all that, Karis dying to NaiYou is the most fascinating part of it all. I would love to see how that actually happened. Here we go.
It's a good old-fashioned 1v1.
Yep, Karis no ulti. NaiYou seems to know that. Just flashing on top of him. Karis having the flash, trying to make it to the wall. Doesn't quite make it. I think it's true. You can't flash any sooner because Xin Zhao will just gap close with the red buff and the E. So he tries to make it over the wall to build enough distance. Doesn't make it. And now we're going to have another fight, more than likely.
I mean, if WE take this one, it puts a halt to Top Esports trying to stack the Dragons, but they didn't do it in time. Now Top Esports are here, but it's finally going to be smote away by Monki. He will give his life for it, though, and the bullet time comes across, but he dies in the middle of it. Now Cube has hit dominance, and he will look for it. It's going to be Karis trying to get away from NaiYou. He's a little bit low now, but Cube could be the one to clean this up with about 4 members of Top Esports strong, though, as they have picked apart the separation of WE, and now are going to look to chase down About. 369 might have the distance to cover this, and Fengyue going for the stun. It's going to be About falling to top.
I'll say this, okay? I'll say this. Every time a fight happens over a dragon, I tend to prefer having the dragon over the fight result. You know, I know that they just got completely cooked and that Top Esports just smurfed on them with Fengyue just ghosting in and they one-shotted Monki and the rest was kind of a formality, but I'm telling you, man, these dragons add up, Mazel. So they're in this game,
dude,
and they might have something else up here.
How many times is Creme going to attempt to be caught in the side lane? He does have that quick back, so he won't be able to get away. Unpunished, some would say, which is going to feel good there. And we're going to take a look back at the fight.
Yeah, Fengyue just ghosting straight in onto Monki. Try to buy time for NaiYou to get in the smite range. Doesn't quite make it, but they got the CC chain onto Monki. He's cooked. Meanwhile, JiaQi is the only one WE is targeting. JiaQi even getting a decent amount off before he dies. Well, fortunately, you don't need JiaQi for the rest of this fight once 369 shows up.
369 is doing some massive work on this Gwen, and we see picture-in-picture now into live view as 369 going again to work, but he's a little bit trouble here. Karis could try to get him down. That True Shot Barrage hitting about, hits another auto. That's going to be a big pick now, big damage down for Top Esports as they continue to try to fight. JiaQi is now able to bounce in between multi-targets here and get so much extra damage as a double kill comes through for him. He's trying to earn his place and earn his name, but he's about to earn a death by About's hand as another one bites the dust. It's going to be Top Esports trying to run away now, but they have Karis, Yaoyao, and About breathing down their neck, and they're going to have beef for dinner as that's a double kill for About.
I'm pretty sure About did like 5,000 damage there. You saw that there was just 4 of the enemy champs from Top Esports just chilling in the red buff pit, and About is just wailing on them, as you say, peppering them with those mystic shots. Mystic shot after mystic shot, just slowly and steadily just getting them lower and lower until he finds his moment to strike, taking JiaQi's name and the rest of them with him.
And About was a big character, I feel like, for WE. I know when we were going into the tiebreaker, we were talking so much about and some of the things that he's been able to do, but then he had some lackluster games against EDG and in IP, and so we started to question. But here on the Ezreal, he's been free firing the entire time, and it's been feeling real good for WE.
I mean, it's crazy how this all starts off. It's just 369's insane aggression on just starting up that red buff. And it looks like WE was just ready to collapse. And About this whole time, just dealing damage, getting this arcane shift to help build him all the distance he needs, more and more damage. He's just able to dish out this whole fight with the lethal tempo Ezreal. Even when his Q doesn't hit JiaQi, it's hitting someone else.
He hit Creme with that one. Jesus.
Of course
Dude, he just did a 360 no-scope on Creme right there.
I'm telling you, man, About is the carry we need to take out About as Top Esports here, or else this guy's going to carry. And his inventory is fascinating beyond belief. He decides to go for the Endless Hunger instead of the Spear Shojin, which is pretty valid. It's a pretty good comparable item, but he builds an additional tier. You know what that might mean, Mazel? We might get to see a Seraph's Embrace Ezreal today.
Blue build is back, baby. see if it continues. I miss Frozen Gauntlet. So,
oh yeah.
Anyways, there's a little bit of a question mark now raised for Top Esports, as they will have that answer coming to them, or at least them answering that in about a minute, when another dragon comes up, another Infernal Dragon on the way to this Infernal Soul, and WE were able to put a slowdown to Top Esports' stacking with the last one. Now we gotta kind of set the table for this next fight here, Fulls, as we're looking at the power pieces for both teams.
Oh yeah, we got the Drake spawning in 45 seconds, but Top Esports has the tempo moving into this bot river here. Xin, Alistar, and Gwen. They're going to be able to set up some kind of a vision and maybe sort of a line in the sand, if you will, that's going to be hard for WE to cross. Thankfully for Ezreal, he can just do so much damage from so much range that he doesn't really need to cross that line. He can just kind of smoke them from a distance. But again, this is going to be a really game-deciding fight, and that's why I thought the last dragon going to WE was a big deal, regardless of that fight outcome. Because now, you don't even need to last hit this dragon, you just need to win this fight.
JiaQi has hit IE. That's a big spike for the MF, and they need to utilize it well. The engage is super important from both sides. Monki has the tool for WE. Fengyue and NaiYou have the tools for Top Esports. Dragon started. Top Esports want to get Soul Point. They see Karis on the side here on this flank. Got to be a little bit careful about the entrances you use.
Eyes on About and JiaQi.
NaiYou was looking to go for a little bit of a fight, but now they're looking for a 50-50. Monki gets punted over the wall by Fengyue, and now NaiYou, actually JiaQi, will secure another objective for his team as he takes the dragon. There's a big bullet time on the Cube. Cube barely survived, but then died. Now Karis is on the back line all by himself, and some of these health bars are not kicking for WE. It's going to be About now the only answer with damage here, as it's going to be a couple Essence Fluxes, a couple Mystic Shots, but a couple misses, and a triple kill for NaiYou. He's looking for a Quadra as a jungler, and he's going to get it here. About has nothing left, and a Quadra kill for NaiYou.
Yeah, NaiYou went from 2-10 to 8-1. He's totally reversing the script going into this game 2, being the problem to the solution. NaiYou here just completely taking over, even getting the Drake as Top Esports here. It was last hit by JiaQi, but let's take another look at this. Monki getting booted out. Guess what? You can't smite this anymore. So Top Esports secures that, and JiaQi is able to survive for so long with his bullet time. How is this guy not dead sooner? Karis knows he has to take him out, sacrifices himself to do so. I don't mind about with this arcane shift. I mean, sure, you can take out Fengyue, but don't click forwards anymore, man. You cannot possibly handle this Gwenzhen's out. These two champions are just so effective, and NaiYou proves why, completely taking out a bout. But overall, a really clean fight, and that's why Gwen's and Zhao can just be such an effective combo. They both have ways of being immune to range damage. So that's tough.
That damage, man. 8,000 damage by a bout.
It wasn't enough somehow.
It wasn't enough. It was not enough.
I have a feeling he's going to top these damage charts, win or lose.
Absolutely. It's about giving time. And that's what we talked so much about the comps earlier is like, WE love a sustained fight. They love to be able to just keep peppering in damage, keep going in and out of these fights, and keep finding backline access. Whereas Top Esports want to hit one and done and walk away and find those big picks where they can. And so far, it's been pretty stalwart from Top Esports, even though they've been a little bit extended in side lanes, been caught here or there. It's another comp in this series that circles together, groups up all 5 on the screen, and it feels impenetrable.
Yeah, and honestly, it might just be impenetrable at this point. I mean, the thing is, right, how is a bout going to deal any damage? I mean, JiaQi's going to be too far. Karis might just die first.
He's going to get taunted. TP's coming in with desperation. That's going to be Cube joining, but he might just join to his death as 4 members of Top Esports survive and come along here to try to get their own crocodile kill. As it's going to be a little bit of time bot. Meanwhile, it is WE who are pushing that mid lane. It's going to be the heroic entrance used to mid lane, though, to try to get a pick. Creme did join the defense there, and they finally took down the monster croc in the side lane. Cube goes down.
Yeah, on the bright side for WE, of course, the bot lane is as far as it can be from the Baron. So while they do have these members dead, they might be able to respawn on time to contest this Baron because you know Top has their eyes on this prize.
Gonna try to start it up now. They don't really have anything else to fight for as we see that picture-in-picture. Beautiful heroic entrance actually saving JiaQi's life as Top Esports circle around the wagons. Gonna get the big purple worm with no contest coming through here from WE besides the True Shot Barrage. And that'll be a Baron power play going to top.
Yeah, WE conceding the Baron there, realizing it's just not practical, feasible, tangible to even stop this Baron from being slain. So you just got to take what you got and find a way to make it work. I mean, technically, it's not that bad. They're only down like 4K. The XP is relatively even. It's just going to be a matter of this Drake. It's going to be really hard to play this Drake fight. But if they can, that's going to really, really save this game right now. This is Top Esports' chance to close it out.
Yeah, it truly is. And a little shout out to NaiYou there, doing almost 30% of his team's damage done so far in this game. At a 10-1 performance, it is night and day compared to that Pantheon from game number 1. And NaiYou has truly come online now for Top Esports.
I mean, this kind of player reminds me so much of some of my friends here at the university, you know, just being so hit or miss sometimes. And it's typically the junglers. It's always the junglers. Either they're just completely sprinting it or they're just hard smurfing and carrying. And that's what we get to see at NaiYou. So we get to know that this is a relatable League of Legends league. He's up 4,500 gold in the jungle position. As you said, night and day, dusk to dawn is a transition here in this game too. And if they get this Drake, it's pretty much all she wrote. So you got to come up with something.
You're going to try to go into the defensive tools. As they do get Creme down, the bullet time's going to buy time for Creme to come out of that stasis and get over to his team. Meanwhile, NaiYou is running rampant on the backline. Big crescent guard into the heroic entrance, and it does not matter what you try, WE. NaiYou will find you either way. That's going to be a big missed engage from WE and a triple kill for JiaQi.
Yeah, and that's probably going to end the game here. And now this Gwen champ is just going to be able to one-shot the towers, as you can see. And I just don't think there's enough time to possibly stop this. I mean, they're pretty far from the Nexus towers, but the respawns, Mazel, their respawns are just so long. Looks like we're going from a best of 5 to a best of 3.
It does look like that as they come to close this Nexus down. It's going to be about with the final stand that goes down. Top Esports emote comes out as the ace comes through for Top Esports, and it's going 1-1 in this best of 5.
Oh yeah, we're going to have the most chaotic night of all time. We get the double best of 5, and with these kinds of performances, back and forth. We don't know who's going to win. We're even getting Nocturne ulted IRL right now. Nobody
all of a
knows.
Sudden, a really dark screen to the bottom right of my
what to expect
view.
anymore, man. Expect the unexpected in this series tonight.
Exactly that. Hopefully Nocturne doesn't come for you. We'll see. Maybe it's just making it dark to help you. But in the end, man, this is exactly what I expected from these teams. We were talking ahead of the night, and I might be chagrined for this, but I did say 10 games, so I'm sorry to everybody. But with the way that these teams are playing, you can never know what is going to happen. We've seen tosses, we've seen punts, we've seen incredible gameplay, we've seen moments where it's just so executed so perfectly, and that's quintessential to the Knights Rivals tournament, to the play-in, to the playoff. It's that proving ground to make sure that you deserve to be at that next level, to be in Group Ascend for split number 2.
I mean, yeah, this is absolutely the only way to really prove that you belong in that Group Ascent. If you can't beat one of these teams, how are you going to beat the rest of these teams in this tournament? That's why, thankfully, you've got the 2 lives. So either team that doesn't win tonight is still going to have a chance to make it through this Knights Rivals tournament. But again, it's hard to know who it's going to be. You might be right about the 10-game menu tonight, because this one could very well go to 5. I'm going to be fully transparent right now.
I could absolutely see it as we're going to go through some of these clips. But what do you feel about our statements earlier saying that, you know, it's kind of a strategical flop for either side, right? Or a flip, I guess, where it really was kind of like a concentered team fight strategy for TES. Meanwhile, it was a little bit more sporadic, a little bit more mechanically heavy for WE this time, where it was like that the other way around for game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. When I said that the Vi pick is probably a decent pick, I was kind of coping. I'm not going to lie. I really think that we just got to keep Monki on exactly what they did in game 1.
Stuff that can't die.
Literally, man. I mean, even the Wukong I would have preferred, because I know that he's kind of more well known for that. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Monki on something along the lines of Mundo or Malphite. You know, that would be a really great pick, because I think that's really going to enable them to succeed. You remember he was hovering top all game, it felt like, in the bushes, trying to come from the river. He just couldn't quite find access onto 369. So he had all this agency, but just wasn't really able to do anything with it. And so that's why I want to see them go back to the drawing board. And again, unfortunately, as Karis is one of the best Akalis that we have out there, he just didn't have a very good performance either. You saw a couple of his flashes were just ill-advised, just you know, kind of pointless, kind of desperate. You know, he was kind of flashing in ways that he was trying to make the impossible possible. So, and that's probably because it was so impossible from the draft. So I want to see them draft something that can really increase their chances of winning. You know, something that they're more comfortable on, and something that can really give them less of an onus to win the early game and just be able to sit back and scale.
And this is also something where I'm going to keep lobbing praise over his way, but NaiYou had a massive redemption game here in game number 2 comparatively to that game number 1. 90% KP with 30% of his damage done, or team's damage done as a Xin Zhao. I mean, that's got to feel really good. Obviously, he was able to pick up a couple kills in that quadra that he got. But it really is a situation that these teams, for good or bad, live or die by their junglers. And when you have some budding newer junglers, obviously Monki with a couple of years, NaiYou coming in now, it's important to think about what this experience does for these guys, and if that cleanliness does start to show through, or if it goes back to the chaos. And I think that's going to come down to it here in these next games. We only have 3 more games potentially to prove that fact before, you know, either one of you goes on to playoffs or the other has to go to the second round here in Knights Rivals.
Yeah, and that's what was so interesting about this second game is I remember touching on that point that in the first game, typically when the first game is really chaotic, the second game has a lot more order to it. And it seemed to be the case for those first sort of 12 minutes, but then it's almost like a Pandora's box.
They just couldn't stay away from it.
Yeah, it was just building and building and building. And eventually it was just too much pressure and tension, how that it just all had to explode. And that's kind of when the chaos was let loose again. So I would not be surprised to see some kind of a theme like that, where these two teams are going to try and tame the chaos, but the chaos cannot be tamed.
It cannot be tamed. Incredible stuff. Who do you give MVP for this one?
MVP for this one, I'm thinking back to this game, and the performance from 369 was pretty goated. If I'm not going to lie, I don't even think anybody else even comes to mind anymore. Oh, but there is NaiYou there. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's a bit hard to beat. Yeah, he got a quadra kill. He did, I don't know, man. 369 though, like he was kind of cooking. Yeah, so it's got to be one of those two.
I think he was in the running until he had that play in side lane where he just got completely caught for no reason. There was no objectives up. There was nothing to fight for on the map, and he's just fighting into a 1v3 in the bot lane jungle. I love to see it. But
yeah, it's gonna be NaiYou, isn't it?
Here. It's gotta be.
It's gotta
be. As he does get the MVP for game number 2, rightfully so. A massive performance from him in a quintessential matchup of this series. Him and Monki, they've got to figure out the consistency issues. And for Monki, I'm expecting a little bit of a different look going into game number 3. But that means we have a series on our hands.
Oh yeah.
And that means we have to go to 4 games, which for the first playoff series of the LPL